start by just telling you an example of a time that I failed. Fell flat on my face, figuratively. So I had been speaking for about 6 months. I was a new speaker, had no education in speaking. I was very out of my league. I was very insecure. I wasn't confident. I wasn't experienced. I didn't have a lot to stand on because I was new, like anyone is when they're starting out. Well, I went up to Indiana for this speaking event that I got booked for. I was already intimidated. This was a group of college students, graduate students that were older than me. They were making more money than me. They were more experienced than me. They just were, it seemed to me that they had everything that I didn't. Mostly men. And I felt going in like, what do I have to teach them? Like, these guys are so impressive in every possible way. They're not going to believe me. I'm not going to have any credibility. But I was like, you know what? I'm teaching money. Dave Ramsey's principles are proven regardless of who you are. This is going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So I go up there and I start doing my presentation. I'm going through the baby steps. This is what all of us Ramsey personalities did in the early days. We all taught on money. So I'm teaching the baby steps. And in the middle of my presentation, this guy in the classroom in front of everyone just blurts out this question about investments that absolutely throws me off. Like, this wasn't a workshop forum. It wasn't the type of thing where it's like we're doing Q&A. Out of nowhere, he interrupts me and asks this question about investments. And y'all, as horrifying as it is, I froze. I didn't know what to say. I stuttered and fumbled and mumbled and got more and more nervous. And I tried to make it better, and I only made it worse. And then I was rambling, and I absolutely lost the audience. Now, I want to go ahead and tell you totally truthfully, I knew the answer. I knew the answer 3 seconds after I walked out of the room, and I didn't have to Google it. I just panicked. I had never been interrupted in the middle of a talk. I had never been asked such a pointed, aggressive question. The way that he asked it was this attacking tone, like I didn't know what I was doing. And you know what? I believed him. I believed him by his tone that I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't deserve to be there. He affirmed every fear I had in my head and said it out loud in front of everyone. I tried to get the audience back. I tried to keep going, but it didn't matter. I had lost them and lost every ounce of confidence in myself. I wanted to disappear behind the podium. I finally wrapped up the presentation, thank goodness, and I got in my car and I drove home to Nashville, and it was a 6-hour drive, and I cried the entire drive. And do you know what I told myself that whole drive? Never again. Never again. I will never speak again. I will never walk on a stage. I will never put myself out there to be embarrassed, to be ashamed, to fall on my face, to fail, to screw up. I will never put myself in that position again. I'm going to protect myself against whatever that was because I never want to feel that again. And that's what I told myself the whole way back to Nashville. That was over 10 years ago. I'm so thankful, looking back, that I didn't do that I didn't let that failure define me, that I didn't let that failure stop me, that I didn't let that be the last speaking event I ever did, because I would have missed out on an entire decade of an awesome speaking career where I get to show up and use my gifts and learn and grow in my gifts that God's given me and help people and make a difference and let God use me in that way. I'm so thankful I didn't let that day stop me. But you know what's interesting is that's not the only time I've failed. It's certainly not the first. It wasn't the last, won't be the last. And what's interesting is as I've done this more and more, not just with speaking, but with anything in life, when I'm scared, I started to really want to understand fear. Like, I wanted to understand what is going on in me that makes me scared and want to stop and holds me back, that other people seem to experience as well. What is this thing? And so I started to do research. I started to learn and dig into the psychology of it. I dug into scripture. I really poured myself into understanding this thing. And one of the most important things I have learned about fear is that it is normal. It's normal. It is normal to feel afraid. It is normal to fail when you're trying something new. It's normal. Now, that may sound really simple to you, but for some of you, you're using fear right now as a reason you shouldn't do something. You're using fear as a crutch and excuse. Well, I can't because I'm scared. Well, I can't. What would they think? I can't because I might fail. I can't. What if they reject me? I can't. It's all rooted in fear. And the only reason you're scared is because this is new. You're scared because it's new. You're scared because you've never done it before. You're scared because it's different. You're scared because it's risky. You're scared because it feels vulnerable. All of that is normal. Of course you're scared. You've never done it. Of course you're scared. It's different. Of course you're scared. It's unknown. We're all scared of the unknown. Every single one of us. Now, if you understand that fear is normal, then what's so amazing about this is it doesn't have to stop you. Because see, for years, fear would stop me because I used it as a justification. I wouldn't have called it an excuse. It was a justification. It was a very logical reason of why I couldn't do this thing because I was scared. Oh, that must be a bad sign. That's a red flag. That is God telling me I shouldn't do it. That's what that is. And I learned that fear is normal. It's not a sign you're doing something bad. It's a sign you're doing something bold. And that's a good thing. And so when I started to understand that fear is normal, it didn't have to hold me back anymore. I had permission to do that thing anyway. I had permission to fail, permission to try and screw up, permission to get it wrong, permission to be imperfect, permission to be insecure. I had permission to do it anyway. You don't have to wait until you're not scared to do the thing you want to do. You do it scared. It's in doing the thing that you overcome your fear of doing the thing. Nothing will silence your fear of doing the thing like doing the thing. So go do the thing. Go do the thing. The antidote to fear is action. It's not sitting around, wringing our hands, worrying ourselves sick, hoping the fear will disappear. And when it disappears, then we'll go do something. That's never going to happen. You're never going to do anything if that's your plan. Instead, you need to understand that fear is normal. You need to embrace the fact that you're going to feel fear and you're going to do it anyway. You're going to do it scared. Because here's the reality. Even when you conquer your fear of one thing, like for me speaking, going back on stage after that event where I felt traumatized by it, even if you conquer your fear of one thing, the moment you do something new, you push yourself outside your comfort zone. You get outside of the box you've been living in. You stop playing small and you go for something big. You set a big goal, the one that scares you and feels a little silly, embarrassing to write down or even tell someone that you love. When you do that, you're going to feel that fear rise up again because it's new again, because you're growing again, because you're expanding again, because God's calling you out of your comfort zone into something bigger and better that's scary and unknown and risky again. So we have to get used to doing things scared. If not, we'll never do anything. And we will miss out on this big, awesome, amazing life where miracles occur, where the unknown is very, very common territory in the plans God has for us. We're going to miss out on those awesome things He has for us if we're stuck staying scared. You don't have to wait until you're not scared to do the thing you want to do. You do it scared. I love how Joyce Meyer says, new levels, new devils. The moment you conquer your fear of one thing, there's going to be new fear. So instead of letting fear stop us, this should be that much more reason to push past it. That much more reason to say, yeah, fear, I feel you, I get it, but you're not going to stop me this time. Because you know what? When you continue to do this, when you continue to walk on the stage, launch the business, post the blog, write down that crazy, awesome goal, have that hard conversation, lean into the conflict, apply for that job. The more you do it and you survive, fear can't torment you with these terrifying possibilities of what's going to happen if you do it because you did it. And you made it. And you're okay. You came out the other side. You get stronger with every time you do this, every time you push past your fear. It doesn't have to keep you stuck anymore. And failure, like my speaking event, failure, like the ones that you've had that scarred you, where you told yourself never again, the failures you'll have next week or next month or in 10 years, they don't have to stop you either. They're a part of the journey. Fear is a normal part of the journey. Failure is a normal part of the journey. I love how Michael Jordan said, I have missed 9,000 shots. I have lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. Embrace that fear. Even the idea of failure, just embrace the fact that yes, you will. I will, you will. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna sting. It's gonna sting our ego. It's gonna hurt our pride. Just like falling off a horse. I remember when I fell off a horse literally when I was 7 years old. And I told my dad, I loved horses. I told my dad, I'm never riding again. And he said, oh yeah, you are. You're getting back on that horse literally. I've had a lifetime of loving horses. I had a farm. I've had my own boarding business, working with horses at camps, because I didn't let that one fall define me. I didn't let that one speaking event define me. I know you've got wounds. I do too. But you don't have to let them define you. You don't have to let the hurt from that stop you from experiencing the bigger and better and more awesome things that God has for you. You don't have to wait until you're not scared to do the thing you want to do. You just do it scared.